Nice to meet you, Liz. I believe you're the new trustee for Scotland. So, how did you end up in that such a very important position?
Very, very good question. I've been part of the committee for Glasgow West End, which just started up just under 5 years ago, and I was chair for that up until very recently. And I made the mistake of having a coffee with Anne Keating, who is the present, was the previous trustee. So here am I, just trying to get to grips a little bit, I think, with the change in role. Really, I think what we're concentrating on is trying to establish more u3as in Scotland, of which there have been a few started. David, what about you? You tell me about, your u3a and background experience.
Yeah. I retired about just before COVID, the December before COVID kicked in. And I always thought I would join u3a, probably for the educational side of things, more than the social side of things. Because I'm kind of naturally curious person. And one of the things I did, for good or bad, at the beginning was volunteer to go on the Trust helpline. And so I got a very good knowledge of how the u3a works and all the problems, all the issues by talking to dozens of people every week. So it was a good introduction to how the u3a works as an organisation. And more locally, I used to really only go, because there was a couple of interest groups I was a member of, primarily to play bridge, to be brutally frank. So I agreed to be the vice chair. And I tend to be used as the sounding board because I know what the u3a, the official position might be, what the rules and regulations would say, etc. So I get used to that. I think the trustee thing it's not the wrong thing to focus on, is actually what you want to do within the u3a. So as you say, you pick bits of it. You have to do a little bit of something. So some people are very interested in the compliancy, trustee type stuff, aren't they? Other people are more interested in the activities like you are, Liz. So I say to people, if they're going to ever become a member of a committee or be a trustee nationally or whatever it might be, it's really up to them what they get involved in or what they concentrate on. You have to do a little bit of everything, but as you say, you need a focus.
The rules and regulations and the policies are important to protect people, but they're not all-consuming by any stretch of the imagination. And I suppose that's what the national bit of the trust does, is set up some of those policies. And you can just say, what's the rules on such and such? And then I don't want to spend hours talking about that at all.
So Liz, why did you actually join the u3a and kind of originally, and why did you decide to become involved to the extent you have been?
I joined the u3a because I've just retired, and I felt that was a really good way, and I was on my own, and I felt it was a really good way to get to meet people, to continue on the learning process, was why I joined. Some of the things that we did during my time on the committee, we've interviewed people twice, and we get quite a good response. We've just done an online survey, and both times people are really, I know people who reply to surveys are often very positive, but they were very positive. And in fact, I always remember that during the pandemic, one person said u3a for us, man and wife, was a lifeline for us during the pandemic. When we could meet face to face, you had something on face to face. When we couldn't, it was online, and they just felt that really helped them get through a time which could be pretty difficult. So that for me was a highlight. Yeah.
That really is actually a lovely thing to hear. It's something that I think probably resonates with me a bit, because that's one of the reasons I got involved, because it was quite a boring time. So you ended up kind of looking for things to do.
Yeah.
And I think the u3a and the trust work I did, and then subsequently going to the committee, probably was, kind of happened, was more likely to happen because of COVID. And the other thing that attracted me to it was the flexibility of it. You can do as little or as much as you like.
Yeah.
And one of the things I always was going to do, and I still do now, is I travel about 6 or 7 months of the year. So I'm away kind of half the year anyway, a month in, month away, a month at home, month away, month at home. So it gives you that flexibility to do things, to go to things that you want to go to. And as you say, me as well, was the meeting people, and that probably the highlight for me is the laughter part of it, because I'm a giggler anyway. I giggle in meetings and I find it very funny, and I'm irreverent. So I quite enjoy that part of life. And if you take things too seriously, even in a committee meeting, or even if you're talking about an important issue, it can just get, to me, it's just boring. And life's too short now.
Yep.
You just got to get on with stuff. Just do it. So they're probably reasons on the highlights of the latter side of things.
Yeah.
Mm.
And I think, in a grandiose kind of way, legacy is that there will be a well-established U3A in Glasgow, and the legacy of, and I'm only a small little part of the Scottish scene, is that you're leaving behind a thriving
Yeah.
movement in Scotland and in the UK.